General Hospital. Cameron Mathison reveals why Drew Cain became so despicable. General Hospital spoilers reveal Drew Cain's shocking downfall from Port Charles' hero to one of the soap's most hated villains. Actor Cameron Mathison explains why his character has been written into such despicable territory, how it sets up a perfect "who shot Drew" storyline and what might come next. When Drew Cain first arrived in Port Charles, he was celebrated as a hero. He had the charm, the honor, and the kind of moral compass that made him one of the town's most reliable leading men. But in soaps, heroes don't always stay heroes. Over the past several months, Drew has taken a dark turn, betraying friends, family, and fans alike. And now, after being shot twice in his own home during the September 2nd episode, the question isn't just who tried to kill Drew Cain, but also how did he fall so far? Drew Cain. From hero to villain. To fully understand why Drew has become so despised, let's rewind. After his release from prison in February 2024, there was hope that Drew would reintegrate into his community and reclaim his place as one of Port Charles's good guys. But instead of redemption, Drew spiraled into destructive choices. Fans have watched him cross line after line. What began as questionable behavior quickly escalated into outright betrayal. And each step down this path has made him one of the most controversial characters on General Hospital today, ruining his nephew's marriage. One of Drew's most unforgivable actions has been targeting his own family. Drew actively pursued his nephew's wife, throwing loyalty and family ties out the window. For fans who once saw Drew as a protector of family values, this was the first major red flag. Soap operas thrive on messy entanglements, but Drew's willingness to sabotage his nephew's marriage was shocking even by Port Charles standards. It cemented the idea that he wasn't just making bad choices, he was fully embracing his role as a betrayer. Sleeping with Nina Reeves. Then came his involvement with Nina Reeves. Drew became entangled with her at the very same time he was supposedly wooing Willow Tait. It was deception layered upon deception, the kind of tangled web that leaves fans groaning. What is he thinking? For Drew, these choices weren't just about romance. They were about power, manipulation, and using people to get what he wanted. By sleeping with Nina while courting Willow, he shattered trust in multiple directions and alienated even more viewers who had once been rooting for him. Manipulating Wiley Corinthos. Perhaps one of Drew's lowest moments came when he manipulated Wiley Corinthos. This wasn't just scheming against an adult rival, it was pulling an innocent child into his games. Convincing Wiley that Michael Corinthos didn't love him anymore was cruel, heartless, and manipulative on the deepest level. This move infuriated fans. Children are usually off-limits, even in soap villainy, and Drew dragging Wiley into his schemes signaled just how despicable he had become. Alienating Scout Quartermaine. As if targeting Wiley wasn't enough, Drew also managed to alienate his own daughter, Scout Quartermaine. By cutting her off from her extended family and manipulating situations around her, Drew damaged the most important relationship he had left. Alienating Scout didn't just make Drew look bad, it made him look irredeemable. To many viewers, hurting your own child is the ultimate soap sin, one that takes years of redemption arcs to repair. Blackmail and fraud. On top of the personal betrayals, Drew has also gotten involved in schemes that cross legal and ethical lines. He blackmailed Portia Robinson, a respected doctor, and launched a fraud investigation against Stella Henry, a beloved character in the community. These moves highlighted his transformation into a full-fledged soap villain. No longer just making questionable romantic choices, Drew was now actively using corruption and coercion to get his way. The man who once stood for honor was now weaponizing dishonesty. Cameron Mathison speaks out. Of course, behind the character is the actor, Cameron Mathison. And in a candid interview with Soap Opera Digest, Mathison shared his perspective on Drew's descent into villainy. Obviously, everybody hates me like crazy, Mathison admitted, but at the same time, they had to do that for the last 4 or 5 months. He explained that for the Who Shot Drew storyline to work, the writers needed to create a situation where multiple characters had reason to want Drew dead. They can't just have people not like me, he said. They have to have people want to kill me. And in order to have multiple people want to kill you, you've got to be pretty despicable, and they've done a really good job with that with Drew. Embracing the villain role. Mathison went on to describe his process in portraying Drew during this dark phase. Every time I read a script, I'm like, oh my god, Drew, are you kidding me? He revealed. And then I'm like, yup, let's go. Let's just dive in. By leaning into Drew's awful behavior, Mathison has embraced the challenge of playing a hated character. For an actor, it's not about being loved, it's about creating compelling drama. And Drew's descent has certainly achieved that. The perfect Who Shot Drew setup. From a storytelling perspective, turning Drew into a despicable figure makes perfect sense. Soap operas thrive on whodunit mysteries, and for a storyline like Drew's shooting to work, there has to be a long list of suspects. By betraying family, manipulating children, alienating loved ones, and blackmailing respected members of Port Charles, Drew has painted a target on his back. Almost everyone has a motive to want him gone. And that's what makes the mystery so delicious. The suspect list. So, who could have pulled the trigger? The list of suspects is long. Michael Corinthos, furious over how Drew manipulated Wiley. Willow Tait, betrayed by Drew's duplicity. Nina Reeves, who may have felt used and discarded. Portia Robinson, seeking revenge for his blackmail. Stella Henry, furious over his fraudulent schemes. Family members, including Scout's relatives, outraged by how Drew cut her off. In Port Charles, grudges run deep, and Drew has collected enemies faster than friends. That makes the question of who shot him one of the most exciting mysteries on the canvas right now. Why fans hate Drew and love it. It's important to note that while fans may despise Drew's actions, many are loving the storyline. Soap operas are built on conflict, and a once-beloved hero becoming a hated villain is the kind of twist that keeps audiences glued to their screens. The very fact that fans are debating, speculating, and venting their frustrations about Drew means the writers have succeeded. They've turned Drew into a character who provokes strong reactions, and that's exactly what makes soap storytelling so addictive. Drew's redemption arc? Of course, in soap operas, no villain stays a villain forever. Could Drew eventually find redemption?
Possibly, but it won't come easy.
He's alienated so many people and caused so much pain that redemption would require years of rebuilding trust. Still, soap fans know better than to rule anything out. Today's despicable villain could be tomorrow's misunderstood hero, depending on how the writers want to steer the story. For now, though, Drew is firmly in the most hated category. Cameron Mathison's commitment. One thing that shines through is Mathison's commitment to the role. By throwing himself fully into Drew's despicable behavior, he's created a character that people love to hate. And in daytime drama, that's just as valuable as playing the hero. Mathison's enthusiasm, let's just dive in, shows that he's not shying away from the challenge. Instead, he's embracing it, giving fans a layered performance that adds depth to every betrayal, every scheme, and every despicable act. The road ahead. With Drew now shot and clinging to life, the next phase of the storyline will be about uncovering the shooter. The investigation will peel back layers of resentment, betrayal, and anger, exposing just how many people had reason to want him dead. And while fans may despise Drew, they'll also be hooked by the mystery. Each new clue, each red herring, and each shocking reveal will keep viewers guessing until the final unmasking of the shooter.